guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today in this vid I've got my G20. Some of you might be a bit confused, you know, sometimes the guy's driving an M140i, sometimes he's in a M4, and now he's got this. If you are new to the channel, I have got two cars. I've got my M4 which replaced my M140i, and I've got this G20 which I've had for about a month. In this vid, what I'm going to be doing is talking to you about some of the annoying things I found with the G20 with regards to the styling as well as some functionality. I've had the car for about a month. I use it pretty much as a daily. We've done about 1,000 miles in it, and I just thought I'd put this out in case you're looking at getting one of these cars anyway. So let's go and do that right now. So here we go. This is my G20. The new 3 Series in the form of a 320 diesel. It's finished off in the mineral white, which I think it's a real nice kind of colour because it has this kind of a fleck in it, and it kind of obviously shows off different types of shades of white. Now, although styling wise I do like it, there's a few things that begin to kind of annoy me. Now if I go into this kind of profile here, you'll notice that these door handles, they're quite overly large, like this whole kind of where you put your hand in. I think it's a bit unnecessary, and from this angle here I just think that it just looks a little bit awkward. That's something that really annoys me. If we move around the rear of the car, I know BMW are keeping it all real with these kind of exhaust pipes, the twin exhaust pipes, one on each side, but then you got this kind of plastic thing here, which again, there's no real need for that, and I don't know why they've done that, but it's there anyway. I think from a styling point, I think that's the only thing that really annoys me. But let's move on to the interior. Obviously guys, not all is bad about the G20, you know, it's still quite a pleasant car to kind of use as a daily and what have you, and I've done loads of content on this car already since picking it up, the kind of initial drive, the spec of this car, and obviously what all the night lights look like, etc. Overall, generally the quality of this car is generally okay, in like sort of fit and finish pretty much everywhere that you look at. You know, it's all got some soft touch materials and plastics. There are a few questionable kind of plastics used. Now one of the areas is down here, so obviously I've got my trusty coffee thermos thing here. Let's put that down. Now these cup holders, for example, even this, the material is quite squidgy, but there's no felt in there, for example, so when you throw something in, like here's my phone, it makes like a horrible kind of a plasticky scratchy noise in there. That's something that I quite find annoying. Like if I've got something in there, it's quite cheap and plasticky. So another area where BMW I think have skimped on in terms of, like, say, the build quality is this kind of area over here, the B pillar. If you just listen to this, proper cheap kind of plastic, and I think it's made worse when you've got your seat belt, which obviously has got the M stripe going through it. When that hits it, when you take your seat belt off, the buckle for instance, yeah, it's not great, and that happens all the time. As soon as you unbuckle it and your seat belt goes over and it hits that B pillar, it kind of makes a real cheap plasticky noise. And obviously it's made worse when your passenger has left their belt like the way it is there, and when you're going over, like, say, the speed bumps and uneven surfaces, when that starts rattling, literally just you know, makes the whole kind of plastic, horrible plastic sound. I really love this M Sport steering wheel. It's got a real nice kind of feeling when you're holding it. You know, it's the chunkiness around it is pretty good. All of these kind of buttons around the steering wheel, they are exactly where you'd want them. There is something that is annoying, well, a couple of things around it. These paddles, they are finished off nicely in aluminium, but the kind of signs for them, like the upshift, the plus and the minus, it would be really nice if they were lit. They're just kind of engraved rather than them being lit. And also I think on the previous F series, like the F30, they were nicely sculptured around the rear end of these, whereas these just feel a little bit flat. I can probably just show you from here what they feel like. They've got this kind of a rubbery kind of backing, and they don't really feel that great when you're actually using them, whereas the previous ones, they had a little bit more of a sculptured kind of feel, and they've aluminium on the back. I do, however, like how the car is finished off on the interior. These LCD screens are really nice and easy to kind of use. All the information is right there. As you can see, the car's almost done 1,000 miles. Obviously this one is quite hugely kitted out compared to my M4. It's got the head-up display, the Harman Kardon, etc. So it's quite nice. But there is something down here that really annoys me. Now, you've got these functions down here, the driving dynamic buttons, Sport, Comfort, Eco Pro and Adaptive. On the F series cars like the F30, you had like a toggle switch down here, so it was literally just up and down kind of thing, you know, you toggle between them. With this, however, you can go, which, you know, it's got the upside to it is you can go from Eco Pro straight into Sport. You don't have to go through Comfort and then to Sport, you can just flick right through them. However, I do think it would have been easier and a lot more usable if there was like a shortcut button here for, like, say, the driving control, because when you're driving and you're kind of focusing down here, it's pretty difficult to keep your eyes on the road and kind of figure out where the buttons are for Sport and Eco or the Comfort or whatever it is. That I think could have been done a bit better, and equally I kind of think that these buttons down here should have been further up in this area, because these buttons or these functions down here, which is traction control, and I think you'd get like the surround camera there in the parking and the auto start stop function, they're not really the buttons that you'd always want to use. So these could have been moved down here and these up here, because they're just a little bit more easier to kind of use. That's my personal preference anyway, you might feel otherwise. So the 3 Series has always appealed to a wide variety of people. Obviously over the 40 years they've sold around 15 million of these things. Whether you're buying a baseline 3 Series or a highly spec'd M3 for example, they are awesome cars, and one of the things about them is that they're so comfortable to kind of use as a daily. Something that could have been done better in this car, and I believe my F30 had something like this, is that when you are just driving and you've got your foot on the footrest on a long journey, this area down here, there's no real padding, and it is again quite hard. So when you got your leg against it on a long journey, it does get annoying because there's no kind of padding around here, and that after a little while begins to ache. Hopefully guys, I'm not putting you off on the new G20. It is quite an awesome car, and I'll be honest with you, I'm loving it as a daily, you know, for all my kind of boring commutes and stuff. It is a very nice interior to sit in and get behind the wheel and drive as a daily. There are still a few other things that I want to point out, one of which is the wipers on this car. BMW made an issue about how good this feature is. The washer jets are kind of integrated into the wiper arms now for its, you know, for it to be easier for when they obviously wash the windscreen. Now I'm going to give you a little demo to show you how much water actually squirts out of these so-called washer jets. So obviously we're in the car park, here we go. If I just I think I need to just turn the car on or something. Yep, just keep that volume down. There we go. Now I'm gonna squirt the water on the on the windscreen. Yeah, they're gonna carry on now for a little while. Could you actually even see like the water coming out, or you know, the spray? The spray was so slow, you know, you're just going to be washing and making your windscreen even more dirty, because there's not that high pressured spray hitting the windscreen for you to then wash away the dirt. I have been caught out a few times when I've had sort of dirt on the window, and I'm trying to clean that off with those pressure washer things on them, and it just doesn't really do it. I do prefer them hidden away somewhere under the bonnet. That high pressure water that hits it is far more effective than what you get out of this new kind of system. So another annoying feature that I found on the G20 is the locking operation of the car from within. Now on the previous cars you would have like a locking button down here, lock and unlock button in the center console, which was easy to reach from the driver and the passenger point. Now for instance you've got it on the door card, right by the kind of like door handle here, which is great because as a driver it's right there, lock and unlock. However, as a passenger, if you are like me and like, you know, sometimes you're just nipping out the car very quickly and you got a passenger with you who you might ask to lock the door, they can't really do that now from the center console, and they can't really do it from their door because on the passenger side there isn't even an option. So what I found is when I've got, like, say, my kids with me and they're having to kind of lock the door, they'll have to lean over onto this side to lock it. Now, of course, you know, I could just do it from my key and what have you, but you know, sometimes it's just easier to do that from within the car, and that again is something that I find a bit annoying. So let's talk about the heating and ventilation of the G20, or probably any G series cars for that matter. Obviously we got this real nice kind of LCD display here. We've got all the kind of controls up here as well, and it tells us the driver's side is set to 23 degrees and so is the passenger side by 23.5. You can obviously control the temperature from this side. These have been synced together, so it's great. And obviously we've got the third zone, which is in the rear. They're also being synced, which is good. There we go. So we're kind of controlling everything, and we're controlling where the air is being distributed as well, and it's all kind of synced, as you can see. Now your passenger might want to have that to, I don't know, 21 degrees, and they might want to have it set to just the feet or something, whatever you want. Now they're obviously out of sync totally. So rather than having a shortcut button here that kind of says sync, you've got to go into the menu AC, never seen that before somewhere, and then you've got to hit the sync option for it then to sync up again. So here you go, so now it's synced up. I just kind of think it's a bit of a faff, because you've got to go into that button, then you've got to do the touch screen there. Obviously you can control it from the iDrive button there as well, or the iDrive dial, whatever it is, controller. But it's just a bit of a faff. It would have been so much easier if they just had a sync button rather than menu AC. I just don't see the point in that. But it's there, you know, it's annoying, I guess. So guys, there we have it. Those are like the small annoying things that I found with the G20. Well, in my case anyway. You might not really agree with some of these things, and that's absolutely fine. I just thought I'd put it out there, you know, after my month and a half's ownership of this car, over 1,000 miles, and it's things that I've kind of found annoying about sort of my kind of experience with the car. And it's probably no better in, like, say, this car's competition like the Audi A4 and the C-Class, and in some cases it might be even worse. But you know, like those kind of things, like the sort of seat belt, the way it rattles down there, and like the washer jets and what have you, that is literally things that really do annoy me, and that's probably just nitpicking anyway. The rest of the car is absolutely fine. If someone was to ask me, you know, what do I think about the G23 series, I'm still in love with the car. You know, it's absolutely amazing as a daily and so comfortable and what have you. So I don't think these kind of few things should really deter you away from the car. Far from it. The rest of the car is absolutely amazing. Like I say, you can clearly go and watch my previous video when I unveiled the car, through to when I took it on that first drive, and how impressed I've been with it so far. But I thought I'll have to do something like this anyway, because no car is perfect. Obviously guys, I have got my M4 as well. If you're interested in how that car is, please visit those videos, which, you know, will kind of continue. I've only had that car for a few weeks anyway. And if there's anything that you want me to cover on the G20, then, you know, drop a comment in the comments below. Hopefully guys, you've enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. There'll be plenty more content on obviously this car as the miles kind of build up, and giving you, like, I don't know, 6-month review and what have you on the car in due course. Hopefully guys, I'll see you in the next vid. Take care. Bye.